It appears the future of President Jacob Zuma lies in the hands of the top 6 officials following the NEC meeting which discussed the issue of his recall last night. Despite the matter not being part of the agenda, SABC sources have learned that it was raised from the floor. After debating the matter, it's understood that the officials were then tasked with the responsibility of managing the issue by engaging with President Jacob Zuma. There appears to be an agreement that by the time the 2019 election comes, he should no longer be in office. After the election of Cyril Ramaphosa as the ANC president last month, the two centers of power debate was reignited. Many felt Ramaphosa should take over as the political center in Luthuli House. The ANC is expected to clarify this matter upon conclusion of its gathering at St. George's in Arini outside Pretoria. Well, for more on the ANC NEC meeting, we speak to SABC political editor Sophie Mkwena. A very good morning to you, Sophie. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, with President Zuma's recall coming up for discussion last night, what happened? Do we have the latest yet?
Well, indeed, the issue was discussed, even though it wasn't part of the agenda. If you are aware that on Thursday, the Secretary General of the ANC, Makashule, indicated that the matter is not in the agenda. But you know very well that at the NEC level, NEC is the highest decision-making body between conferences. Any matter can be discussed. And it is for that reason NEC members are allowed to propose any addition to the agenda or a removal of a certain issue on the agenda. And after one NEC member requested that the matter be discussed, it was discussed. And we had information that the matter was debated and an agreement was reached that in the interest of the country and the interest of the ANC, particularly preparing for the 2019 elections, it will be wise for President Zuma perhaps to step down. They couldn't agree on the time frame and the finality of the whole issue, and the matter was handed over to the top 6 officials to handle. But we do know that yesterday President Jacob Zuma met with President Cyril Ramaphosa in his capacity as the Deputy President of the Republic and the Finance Minister, discussing issues related to Eskom in particular, because we often say that transport is the lifeblood of commerce, but I believe that energy is the lifeblood of commerce. And with Eskom having all these challenges, the economic situation of the country might be affected, and there's intervention there to try and deal with the current challenges in Eskom, the issue of NPA, the issue of the hub. There's so much, and I think ANC is trying to move with speed to ensure that all the damage that occurred the past years, they try to deal with it so that these issues don't affect the party in its campaign for 2019.
And I understand that the NEC was also expected to vote for members or to sit on the National Working Committee. Did this go ahead?
Yes, they did vote, and our sources tell us that in terms of the list, when you look at the list that will be perhaps made public during the media briefing, which is likely to be tomorrow or Monday or today, I don't know, is that there's a fair balance of gender. You have young blood, provinces well represented, and of course the two factions towards Mangaung well represented, and the issue of unity again coming up very strong. And the other issue is that today then the NEC will then have a bigger forum, which is now Lekgotla, where you invite your alliance partners to discuss the January 8 statement and whatever decisions perhaps that needs to be taken. That can also form part of President Zuma's State of the Nation address as part of what the ANC wants to see happening in government this time around or this year. But as you are aware, now the issue is this whole thing of discussing President Jacob Zuma's future. We know that he's got a few international engagement lined up, and we don't know whether currently he will still be going to those international engagements. We know that the ANC Deputy President, in his capacity as the Deputy President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, has to go to Davos. These are all the issues that the ANC has to discuss, and we know that this morning the meeting of the bigger forum, that is Lekgotla, that includes the alliance components and also the government deployees, will get underway to discuss program of action this year, and that will, of course, make all the contributions will be part of the state of the nation.
And how was the issue of the Provincial Executive Committee tackled, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal and Free State? And what was the outcome of such a discussion?
Unconfirmed reports. These are unconfirmed reports that apparently there's a proposal that the two provinces must be disbanded or dissolved so that you can start from scratch, avoid these court processes, because the court processes have got negative impact in terms of the ANC. So I think they are working on political solutions for the two provinces. My suspicion is that, of course, if they are dissolved, they will ensure that the interim structure is inclusive. Of course, there will be some people from national and people in the province, but they will ensure that the two factions are perhaps included. The same with Free State. Obviously, there will be the representation from national, but also in the province, and I guess the same will apply in Free State, if indeed Free State is dissolved, to ensure that there's balance between the two factions. We know that there's a Ace Magashule faction and Thabo Manyeni faction. So I think in terms of ensuring unity, ANC will ensure that the interim structures will be inclusive.
All right, Sophie, I'm going to let you go for now, so you will be our eyes and ears on the ground for us. We'll certainly chat to you a little later on in the show. That is Sophie Mkwena, political editor, speaking to us live from Irene in Pretoria, wherein the ANC National Executive Committee is holding its weekend Likhotla.